Call to order the Ashland Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, September 14th, 2023. We'll start with an invocation, then Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Lord, we welcome your Holy Spirit into our chambers today. We're thankful for how you have blessed our city in recent days and ask that you continue to give this Board of Mayor and Commissioners wisdom and guidance as we strive to make the right decisions for our city and its citizens. Bless our city manager, our staff and employees, and those in attendance today, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag and place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have a motion to receive and file the agenda?
Second.
All right. And hearings and reports. Commissioners, if you will allow me to start today. First off, I am extremely grateful to our city. We have accomplished great things this past week with hosting the ARC conference. I'm personally indebted to each and every one of our city staff, our Paramount staff, our Visit AKY staff and board, our museum staff. You all knocked it out of the park. I talked to Rocky Atkins yesterday as a follow-up, and he expressed to me the governor's gratitude to our city and all involved for making the ARC conference the best ever. And I think it says a lot about our community. We've had a lot of hits, and not usually in the good way. And to see this come about and we get selected and then we're able to pull this off in a way that was successful for everybody just really fills me with pride as mayor. And I thank you all so much about for all you have done. I also want to mention real quick, yesterday there was a town hall meeting on mental health, and it was hosted by the judiciary, Kentucky Judiciary. We had Kentucky Supreme Court justices there. We had some chief legislators, members of the cabinet for mental health, human services. I just was there to listen as they were, to continue this focus and fight to address mental health as a serious concern that it is, not only in our community, but in communities nationwide. I want to specifically mention how proud I am of our jailer, who happens to be a former Ashland police officer, and the efforts he's made in turning the jail around. Specifically, what that was mentioned yesterday was he, with the assistance of our Boyd County Fiscal Court, appropriated funds to have a mental health counselor on staff for the inmates. And because of that, they've had a significant reduction in use of force needs to address people that are having a crisis while incarcerated. It heartens me to know that we are making strides that way too, and people like our jailer and his team are doing all that they can to address that. But we have more to do, and I know that it's going to require all of us as a community. The ARC was represented yesterday. They're adding 40 additional beds for psychiatric needs, which is critical. But make no mistake, we still have issues with long-term supportive housing that needs to be addressed, and not just for our mental health folks, but folks suffering from addiction. Affordable housing is an issue in our community, and we must do all we can as a city, a state, and a nation to address those matters. All right, on that note, I'm done, and I'll start with Commissioner Clark.
I get to go first.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'm just going to say a lot of what you said anyway, just because. I'm also very, very proud of everybody in this city, staff, even our citizens, of how we handled the Appalachian Regional Commission this past week. Just going down the street and seeing all of our businesses open, everybody who was so welcoming, everyone I talked to commented over and over and over again of how welcome they felt. And that doesn't happen on its own. That doesn't happen because we said do it. Be nice to the people who are here. That's just how we are. And I'm so thankful for everybody that played a part in making the Appalachian Regional Commission Conference happen in Ashland. And when we say this is a big deal, it's a big deal to have that many people here. And not only that many people, but the people who were here and how they could influence us in the future is fantastic to me. So I wanted to bring that up. I also wanted to, I was reminded by Mr. Moore here that there is a dress code here and I'm violating it. Kentucky Power right next door is hosting their annual Power Up the Pantry event where we help stock our food pantries across the region. And so if you want to drop by and drop off some canned food, we'll make sure that gets where it belongs. That does benefit Facing Hunger and God's Pantry, which stocks River City's harvest and helps us as well. So there's my little plug and my apology for wearing my T-shirt and my blue jeans today.
You're excused.
Thank you, sir. And with that, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Blanton.
Well, I fully support that trend continuing, by the way. But,
I won't say anything if you wear a T-shirt next time.
Obviously, I'm sure lots of people have given credit to especially Visit AKY, who are probably still recovering today. But Paramount, Highlands Museum, Delta Hotel, all of our partners that made this happen. Just amazing, amazing to have that collaboration. Our city staff, our city employees, who I'd like to say everybody take a break this week, but that doesn't happen, right? Nope. City keeps going, and we still get, we still have other issues, and it's important, but their work is appreciated, and we know that they're still working for the citizens. One thing we talked about in one of the breakout sessions was actually Brandy and Courtney and Carly's breakout session. Was about how we've engaged citizens, empowered citizens to become a part of what we're trying to do. And I got to experience that on my own. I did an event request for an event that we're having on the riverfront to be able to use telescopes, and people were helping us out with that, but filled it out just like a normal citizen would and submitted it, followed the instructions right on the form, had a timely response, and that's been a process that we've had to get right over time. There's been a lot of work on getting that right, and my event is not that, it's not that big of an event, but it's good to check those. It's kind of just like self-audits, just to look at those and see that those are working, because those are the tools for helping citizens to express themselves and to use our facilities. So that was good to see. And just to piggyback a little bit on the mayor's point, this was such a celebration downtown, and there's so many images that people see about what happened. It is important to connect that to citizens that weren't a part of it, and to help them understand that how that does benefit families who are in need, who may be seeing that and thinking, oh, that's great for them, but how does that affect me? And what the ARC does, what they represent in all of the states that are member parties. I think that's something that's been important for me. Like when I've seen or I've heard someone maybe make a comment like that, to say there's a bigger idea here that does extend to every citizen, and it's not, we know, and we're still focused on much bigger issues that we have. You'll never hear this commission not recognize that. So I think that's an important point. I appreciate you making that point. Thank you very much.
Okay. Commissioner Spriggs.
Hello, everybody. I think you ought to tell everybody where they go to find that form.
Online?
Out online.
Yeah, you can go, actually, you can literally just Google City of Ashland, Kentucky event request, and the link will come right up. Yep.
There you go. Well, I want to echo the sentiments of my fellow commissioners and thank everybody. It was a wonderful time. I was so impressed by the people that were here who had such kind things to say about Ashland, how they love our city. They think it's fantastic the way our downtown looks. the engagement of people. And certainly I think we've got the best city employees, and I love our kiosks. Everything is shaping up. It looked so good, and I believe probably Visit Ashland's getting ready for Pogue Landing days coming up. So one after another, we have these wonderful events to fill up our downtown. And speaking of that, I want to say the Pogue chapter of DAR will be at the stage in front of the Delta Hotel on the 17th at 4 o'clock. Please stop by and participate with us in ringing bells for the Constitution, for the signing of the Constitution. Constitution Day is September 17th. Constitution Week is the 17th through the 23rd. You all who know me know how much I like government and history. So we're going to be, the mayor will be there to read a proclamation and to lead us in the preamble to the Constitution from the stage. We will be handing out bells and flags to ring at that time. So please plan on joining us. And I'll let Marty finish up with the ribbon cuttings we've been at.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Good, go
Welcome.
for it.
Welcome, everybody. I thought Commissioner Clark thought she was at the fiscal court meeting. But
Are you talking about my T-shirt?
Touche.
But
That's
I'm
too
glad
bad.
you're here. It was just too hard to, easy to pass up here. I can't say
Move
enough
along.
about our
Okay.
ARC convention. Nothing but good things from the very start of the 9/11 service we had on Monday morning till the fireworks and reception we had on Broadway Square when it ended. We just scared the devil out of a couple dogs around the neighborhood. But I can't say enough about our city and our employees and everybody that was involved, the museum, the Paramount Arts Center, Visit AKY, the hotel. But I do want to mention the ribbon cutting. Our friend Andre Jackson, we went to ribbon cutting. He started the Tropical Smoothie Cafe over there, and it's been wildly successful. He is a minority business owner, and he's been at my home many times growing up with my sons, and played football for Ashland and graduated from Ashland, and he was a Huntington police officer, and he started this business over here. Go visit it. It's very, very good. And, of course, Pogue Landing Days is coming up the next 3 days. And just take a deep breath. We're going to start construction Monday morning here. So take a deep breath. Don't be like my mother-in-law who, when I'm up on a ladder, she'll say, "You missed a spot right there." And I just want to say, step off, old lady. Wait till the thing's finished, because this is gonna be for many, many months that we're gonna be after this on Main Street. So just be very, very patient. The finished product is gonna be very, very good and transformational to the city. That's all I have.
Commissioner, do you have a snack down there? You good?
I think we're going to have to appropriate money to put a button to pull Marty's mic.
Security, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, well, city manager, you're up.
Kind of a tough act to follow.
got that
Marty. I think there's one, in addition to everything that the mayor and commissioner said about the ARC conference, and y'all have heard this before, we all appreciate the things we see, but some of the things that we don't see. We did mention the cleanliness, but something else that could have really gone south that didn't was the Ashland bus system that provided transportation for everybody, not just in the city, but in hotels around the area. So that went out without a hitch. So Tony, Michelle, everybody and Randy that's involved with that, thank you very much.
Great job, Tony.
A lot of planning.
Yeah.
As part of the after-action review comments, so Commissioner Good had mentioned the fireworks. I think one of the areas that we'll look for improvement next time is that I wish we would have pushed harder to include more of the community. It was something that was discussed, and it was just an opportunity missed. And also, on the city's behalf, is to forewarn citizens about those fireworks, because there are a lot of issues that are associated with that. So look at me, I dropped the ball on that from the community perspective, and that we won't make that mistake again. But still, it was a magnificent night, a magnificent event, but we're always looking to improve. Next thing I'd like, if Tracy could stand up, Tracy Wilkes. And I'd like to recognize Tracy Wilkes from our Community and Economic Development. We were recognized let me just read this to you. The Section 8 Management Assessment Program, CMAP, measures performance of the public housing agencies, which is a PHA, that administer the Housing Choice Voucher Program in 14 key areas. CMAP helps HUD, Housing and Urban Development, target monitoring and assistance of PHA programs that need the most improvement. In 2022, Ashland Assisted Housing scored a 70%, which was rated as standard. This year, with Tracy's leadership and Rhonda Connor and an employee who recently departed for personal reasons, increased that score to 100%, which is considered high-performing agency. This has not been an easy task. It was a year of really difficult, hard work. Tracy, we want to thank you for that and all the work that you and your team, Chris, everybody that y'all are doing, and the focus you're putting on it. As the Mayor mentioned, housing continues to be a challenge in this area, and ensuring that we've got a great voucher program is key. Just for public information, we have 636 allocated vouchers, and this year they were able to put 137 new families into HUD housing, and we're also able to get 7 VASH vouchers for veterans. So just a round of applause to you and all the work you've done.
Great work.
And then with that, a great introduction from Commissioner Goot on the, starting Monday, we'll go up. I want to emphasize these, I call these cartoon slides. They are not intended to be detailed at all. The only message I'm trying to get across here is that the program starts on Monday. If everything goes well, the downtown proper, 13th to 18th Street, will be completed by the summer. And then the entire program, the end date for the contract is December of next year. So it's a very long and arduous process, as the commissioner pointed out. But really, I just wanted to introduce you to traffic flows. So on Monday, and again, this is very simplistic, this is, in my terms, Phase A, because they've actually got numerical phases as part of the detailed plans, which we'd be glad to share if anybody would like to see those. But Phase A is going to start on Monday, and what's going to happen is that the middle section, the inner 2 lanes of the 4-lane, are going to be blocked to traffic, and they're going to mill that area. That's going to go from 13th Street down to 18th Street, and we'll go through mid-November. So you'll still be able to curb park, and you'll still have 1-lane traffic both ways. Next, please. Phase B will start approximately in November. Again, there's a lot of other factors that are involved with this, if there's bad weather, et cetera, supply chain issues or anything along those lines, but there's a lot of different factors that could impact. But by mid-November, they will have the final median that's going to be laid. And again, it's not all the way down between 13th and 18th, because you're going to have breaks for many roundabouts and a lot of other dynamics that are involved. But they will have all the median laid. And then they're going to mill the outside of those 2 lanes. So the inside 2 lanes that have been milled will now be the traffic flow. And the outside the curb work will not start. That road, Winchester, will not be paved until one of the very final steps, because it doesn't make sense to pave it in the middle. You're going to have trucks going over it, et cetera. So this is essentially Phase 2. And as it states up there, it's still TBD when this will be completed. Next, please. Phase C will, as I mentioned a second ago, maintain the one-way traffic on both sides of the median, but that's when the contractor will start demoing and reconstruction. And for those of you who don't know, every piece of concrete, except for areas that have already been streetscaped, between the walls of the city is going to be replaced. So every piece of asphalt, the curb, that's all going to be replaced, which is a major undertaking. And as one of the mayor commissioners said, when we briefed that during the ARC conference, people were just absolutely amazed at how we got that done, how we got a $7.2 million project for $1.4 million. So big undertaking. Steve's concern when we put these cartoon slides together is that we're not doing the entire street side, the south side, for example, at one time. It's going to go half block by half block and only one side of the road. So there'll still be every opportunity that we've got to maintain parking down there. We're going to maintain that. We are going to communicate weekly starting today with the businesses. The businesses have a heads up that the start would begin, but really had nothing more than that. We do have a staff meeting this afternoon, and also with participants from the community, businesses that are downtown, with the contractor, so we can nug through a lot of the details. Our intent is that every Thursday or Friday, Ashland Visit AKY will put out in their roundabout, their weekly magazine, will have a detail, in addition to Eden and her team communicating with the businesses. So again, just a big hand wave is what I wanted to present to you. I think that was the last slide, wasn't it, Erica?
How many months we looking at?
So the downtown proper commissioner will look at finishing this in the summer, and then we'll still have the streetscape that goes from 7th to 12th and 18th to 21st. They'll probably do some work there, but it's not just going to be those sections at one time.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
So two-lane traffic is going to start immediately.
Monday.
Yes, Monday
Yeah.
morning.
So essentially, obviously, the how parking will look fine, all that'll come along through the project, but 2 lanes, I mean, that's going to start right off the bat. So, so the idea, which people have lost along the way, by the way, it's been 2 years since we, not saying that for any reason other than it's been a long time of education, honestly, for me, for learning about the reasons to do this. But I just want to say, I mean, we know the benefits of it. I mean, it was learned way before I came along, the benefits of a 2-lane downtown. This is a big deal. And that is maybe tough to see for some people now, but talk to literally anyone who knows what they're talking about outside of the city. And like I said before, the thing I've consistently heard is, why haven't you done that yet? Literally have a video, and this is the state of my life right now, but I've literally taken clips of the drag racing and what traffic
Yeah.
looks like between the lights. And there's nothing that we're going to do that intersection that could be any worse than someone going through there at 45, 50 miles an hour and running a red light, which has happened more times than I can count. So, so I'm all in, and I appreciate that we've got a group. It's a courageous decision. It is. It's the right decision, but it's a courageous decision. Appreciate your leadership on it. Appreciate everybody being. There's a lot of places where this could never happen.
Commissioner, if I could just add one thing to that. I didn't finish essentially the mini roundabouts will be done last, and then the paving. And again, it's just not that simplistic, because there's going to be a lot of things that go on in the connections to the mini roundabouts that'll be done early. But it will, trying to find the silver lining on this, it will impact people's behavior starting Monday, because it's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be that 45 miles an hour. Todd and his folks try as much as they can to be there when they can, when they're not working higher priorities, but we all know what downtown, it looks like a racetrack at times. So the silver lining to this is that nobody really wants to drive over milled areas. I mean, it's just not a preferred thing. If you can go down Greenup, why wouldn't you go down Greenup and save that time? And Carter is always a great avenue too. But I wanted to mention both those points also. Thank you.
I also want to mention that we must do all we can to communicate this to our business community. They are a partner in this, obviously, whether they knew it or not, they are, because it affects their front yard there for many. So I ask that all the information provided in this meeting today be available on our website, city website, so that it can be reviewed and pointed to and directed to. Also, if we need to, list a contact name with phone numbers so that our city staff can be reached by our small business community, so if they have any questions or concerns, that they can be addressed.
Will do, Mayor.
This is a dream come true. I've been after this since Goots Men's Shop was on Winchester Avenue, and Murphy's Dime Store was open. 2-lane on Winchester.
2
Two
lane.
lanes on Winchester.
Two
We've
lane,
talked about
yep.
it for 4 or 5 decades, right?
Absolutely,
Since
absolutely.
it was switched to 4 lanes to start with.
Absolutely.
We did too when I was on
Yeah.
commission in the 20s, yeah.
Yeah, when I first started with,
Yeah.
back then it wasn't Ashland in Motion, what was it before
Main
Ashland?
Street.
Main Street. When
Ashland
we
Main
started
Street.
with Main Street, we had this
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
in, early 2000s.
So here we are, dream coming, yeah, it's coming
Yes,
to
dream
fruition.
come true.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, City Manager?
No, sir. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. At this point of our meeting, we'll have public participation. Anyone with a comment or request may come to the podium and address the commission concerning matters related to city business, services, or personnel. Comments related to election issues or concerning personal disputes will not be allowed. We ask that you have one speaker per subject. No action is going to be taken at this meeting. Those with comments are asked to fill out an inquiry form and leave it with our city clerk for distribution in the proper city department. Would anybody like to come forward at this time? Come on down.
Thank you for allowing me to come today. Thank you, Commissioner Goot, for inviting the Paramount here to talk. I have an infographic. May I bring it to you all?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about what's going on over at the Paramount. The infographic that's getting passed around details our 22-23 fiscal year, so that started July 1st of 2022 and just wrapped up June 30th of this year. During that time frame, the Paramount hosted 110 events, and so anytime that you would think about the Paramount doing a concert or a comedy act, a musical, a play, anything of that nature, those are the events that we hosted, most of them on our Paramount stage, some of them out in the community at our beautiful Ashland riverfront. Thank you for allowing us to use that facility, in local schools and at other locations. We had just over 250,000 patrons attend those 110 events from all 50 states and Washington, D.C. We also had folks coming from all over the world. We had people from 5 different countries. You may have heard me out talking at some of the clubs here recently about having 4 countries come here to Ashland. But you know what? I was leaving out the United States. I was leaving us out. So we had folks from all 50 states, folks from Canada, Mexico, Germany, and Spain that come here to Ashland to attend events during this time frame. 36% of those 250,000, or just over 90,000 people, were from out of town. And we define out of town at the Paramount by anyone who has attended an event that lives about 30 miles or more outside of the Paramount in any direction. And so those are really the folks that are coming to our community to stay at the local hotels, to eat at local restaurants, to shop at local businesses. They're the folks that are contributing to our economic development and to our economic impact. And so we recently partnered with the National Independent Venue Association to help us to calculate our regional economic impact. They calculated us at $12.5 million as a regional economic impact. That is the Huntington, Ashland, Ironton MSA. We've also supported 111 jobs throughout that time frame. The National Independent Venue Association formed during the COVID-19 pandemic as really a coalition, a group of individuals that would support independent music venues. And independent, all that really means is we're not owned by our city or county governments like most performing arts centers are. We are independent, meaning we survive almost solely on ticket sales, donations from local businesses and from our community. And so we really just wanted to come today to present this to you, to show you the impact that we're having on our community, but also to paint a little bit bigger picture for you. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, like a lot of businesses here, the Paramount witnessed a significant decrease in net income. We had a whopping 473% drop in net income during the COVID-19 pandemic. But what makes the Paramount so significant is that though we cut back very strictly on our operations, we only saw a 36% decrease in our expenses. That really speaks to the fact that we are operating a historic venue, a building that turned 92 last week, almost a 100-year-old historic landmark, and frankly, it's expensive. It costs roughly $60,000 a month to operate the Paramount, and that's not putting 1 cent toward any sort of preservation or restoration efforts. Our last major expansion, improvement, restoration project, several of you may remember it was October 2001 when we did the stage expansion. We worked a little bit on our HVAC systems and developed a new orchestra pit. But most of those things are now 20 plus years later, starting to become outdated. We need significant upgrades to our structural, mechanical, plumbing, electrical systems, and really just wanted to emphasize that to you all and to our community. We are able to make ends meet through ticket sales. And so please continue to buy those tickets. Come to the Paramount, come out, see the events that we have. We're really proud of what we're able to do and what we're able to provide to the community. And I just think it's important that everyone knows that we're here, we're excited. We're a staff of only 9 full-time people. 4 of us are here today. We're very passionate about the work we do, and we just want to share that information with you.
Thank you so much. You know, Holly, I told you this the other day, and we are extremely grateful for the work your staff did for the ARC conference. I had specifically talked to some state officials, and they were overwhelmed with superlatives for you and your team for the work that you all did to be good hosts and hostess for our guests and special guests. And I saw it firsthand. I know how critical the Paramount is. You know, I've said this to many people in our community as I talk up the Paramount. It is a jewel, and it is an anchor for our downtown. It's an anchor for our city. It's an anchor for our region culturally. And I know the importance of this facility will continue to be in our minds as a commission. So we thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate you all. Thank you for allowing us to talk today.
Thank you,
Thank
Holly.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Do you have a date yet for Taylor Swift?
Who else would like to come forward at this time? Scott?
How you doing? Just a few comments.
Scott, if you don't mind, just for those that may be watching, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Scott Martin, Director of Operations at the Ashland Alliance. The Ashland Alliance, of course, the Economic Development and Regional Chamber of Commerce serving Boyd and Greenup counties. Tim would be here, but Tim has not looked up from RFIs for many weeks now, many months actually, and he stays busy. But I just wanted to kind of catch up on some things going on. First, I'll jump on with everyone else. What an amazing week. What a chance to showcase our beautiful community. So our thanks go to the city, all the employees, the staff, elected officials, first responders, Holly and the gang at the Paramount. And no one has mentioned what excellent behavior Paramount Joe was on all week. And
You should see him afterward.
I can imagine. It's a lot of people in his place. I get that. But it was an amazing week, and here we are headed into to Pope Landing. So I just wanted to catch up on what we have going on. We have a ribbon cutting today at Pathways, the Drop House. So it's 3701 Lansdowne up by Ann and Safe Harbor. And Marty, I expect a history lesson on. You're great for that, and I want to say I appreciate when you show up. It warms my heart when we do a ribbon cutting, and many of our members are there, but many elected officials to show their thanks and commitment, the people's commitment to opening a new business. And so thank you all for that time after time. Next week, we have a ribbon cutting in Catlettsburg at Clay's Pharmacy. Everybody's welcome to come to that. That's on Wednesday. Business after hours is Thursday, and this month, it's 21st. It's at the McConnell House in Greenup. Historic, great place it's an amazing tour if you've never taken it, so wander down for that. Our fall golf outing is next Friday. That's at Diamond Links. So if you want to get a team together, this is a good time to do it. We have time. Our annual meeting is coming up in October. We have 3 fundraising events. We have 2 golf outings in the annual meeting. Annual meeting is always our biggest event. October 26th, we will be at Sandy's. It'll be open to our membership, and those from the business community or public that get tickets through us will be at Sandy's. We also will have access to Tap That Sports, which is opening up around the same time. Looks phenomenal. It's going to be a great time. We'd love to have you all there. We will be able to announce our speaker pretty soon. We know it's going to be good. We just can't say anything yet. So bear that in mind. Those are all the events. Those are the things we do, and we're very proud of those, and we show up at a lot of places. The important work we do, really, in addition to economic development, are our programs. Our young professionals just gathered 300 backpacks, and that's so kids that are less fortunate start school on the first day on the same footing with the others. So there's no pressure, there's no, I don't have it, because they got it. And that's, I can't thank the young professionals enough. We do this year after year, 2, 3, sometimes 500, 600 backpacks, and where that's amazing, that's also kind of sad that we have that many people in need. So I thank them for that. Community leadership development kicks off next week. I think it's the 44th year. It was the very first, the mayor knows it well, the very first program of its kind in the Commonwealth was right here at the Ashland Alliance. So that's an amazing program. It kicks off next week, as does youth leadership, and can tell us about this as well. It kicks off next Tuesday for its 31st year. So there's a lot going on. I just wanted to share that with you guys and say thanks for everything you do, and working with you guys is just a pleasure, and we're getting things done. So thank you.
Scott, I want to thank you on behalf of the commission and the city for the Alliance's participation in our cost sharing for our new information kiosk, as well as our tourism arm, the Visit AKY. Partnerships are critical, and the chamber is the organization, the entity that brings us all together in ways that we normally wouldn't be able to. If we get together here, it's an official meeting.
Yeah.
But when you have your events and working with our other counties together, all as one for the greater good of our people, it embodies what the chamber's all about. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Not Anybody else like to come forward at this time? Okay. We got a trifecta of our major
as well.
organizations.
I'm Kim Jenkins. I'm the director at the Highlands Museum. We had a ball at the ARC, and we had breakout sessions on the main floor and on the 4th floor. Incredibly well received, and I thank AKY and Studemo for getting us all set up with the things that we don't have at the museum to accommodate these guests. So it was really great. I also want to share with you all that we are on tap to open the Clark Family Discovery Center, our new $3.8 million state-of-the-art facility, on December 16th.
Wow.
Oh,
Great.
Wow.
So that's going to happen now. The really exciting thing is the incredible challenge we're going to have getting that project going with Streetscape at the same time, because our build-in is in November, and so it's going to be a challenge. But we'll figure it out, and it'll all come together. And thank you all very, very much.
And Kim, I also want to thank you. You're chairman of our park board, but you've also been kind of our consultant in chief for all things green. And the flowers were a big hit
They certainly were.
by most of our attendees. They just couldn't believe how beautiful they were. And I know that there is a bubble gum. What was the
Vista Bubblegum.
Vista bubble gum?
That was the million-dollar question of the ARC.
Yes, yeah. Well, again, you helping select those flowers and cultivating them and having our city staff do what they need to do to keep them watered, it just really was an accent point that made a big impression. So
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate the passion of the city staff for doing such a great job taking care of
Oh,
them.
yeah. Every
Every day when I walk in the museum, it's like, good job, Ducky.
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
great. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I want to thank Kim as well for the work and expertise she's brought to working on the wall, World War II memorial wall that we're going to do. I mean, she's been a huge asset for us getting plans done on that. And congratulations on your new opening coming
Thank
up.
you.
Yes.
Anybody else at this time? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to old business.
Old business, item A, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland and the City of Flatwoods, Kentucky to furnish potable water for distribution and sale within its water distribution system, and repealing ordinance number 160, series of 2005.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky approving the 2023 rent increase for Glalo Apartments, effective October 1, 2023, for the City of Ashland Department of Community and Economic Development, Division of Assisted Housing, Section 8.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 38, series of 2021, as amended by ordinance number 28, series of 2023, commonly known and referred to as the 15-minute parking space ordinance, designating a 15-minute parking space in the 1500 block of Central or Carter Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Allard Excavation LLC in the amount of $7,247,275.01 for the Winchester Avenue Improvements Project for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Sourcewell Pitney Bowes in the amount of $163,566.67 for the purchase of software maintenance services for the Department of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F. It says first reading, that's a mistake, isn't it? Item F, second reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing the distribution of national prescription opioid litigation funds to Remy Eastep in the amount of $78,148, Ashland Police Department in the amount of $8,500, Hillcrest Bruce Mission in the amount of $199,036, Shelter of Hope in the amount of $99,868, and My Hometown TV in the amount of $50,000 to combat the opioid crisis.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Just this final reading is a symbol of our city's commitment to doing what we can to fight the opioid epidemic and all the ails that come with it, including homelessness and other issues. And I want to thank our city staff. I want to thank the organizations that have applied for these grants. And those that didn't get it, you know, there may be more money coming, so there's going to be opportunities to apply again or reapply. But it is important that we take this money and use it wisely, so we thought best that it go to the organizations and entities that are dealing with it every day. And so I'm proud of what we've been able to do with this money, and I'm proud of the community for doing all they can to help remedy. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Consent agenda, a resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of September 14, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Give you all a moment.
This was a pretty lengthy consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
New business, item A, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and BLK Construction LLC in the amount of $3,400 regarding miscellaneous asphalt and concrete repair work through July 31, 2024 for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and C.J. Hughes Construction Company, Inc. for the Oakview Road Culvert Replacement Project in the amount of $173,500 for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Hallelujah.
I was going to say, if anybody has
Right.
experienced the dip on Oakview Road, that's due to a culvert that was in disrepair, and it's been on my radar, city manager, I think I was a commissioner when I first brought this up. So the fact that this is getting dealt with is of great relief to us and anybody that has driven over the hump there. So appreciate everybody on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland and Appalachia Realty LLC regarding an encroachment for outdoor seating at 317, 319, and 323 15th Street on the city's right-of-way.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing Josh Blanton, Mayor Pro Tem, to execute an agreement between Safe Harbor of Northeast Kentucky, Inc., the subrecipient of $10,000 for operating costs from the 2023 Program Year Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Item E, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with Community Assistance Referral Services, Inc., CARES, the subrecipient of $15,000 for operating costs from the 2023 Program Year Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Item F, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Lights Enterprises, Inc. for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris of 2820 Main Street in the amount of $4,200 for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Bobby's Mulch for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris of 2824 Main Street in the amount of $5,300 for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute and submit the request and agreement for 2024 litter abatement program grant funding through the Kentucky Department of Environmental Protection, Division of Waste Management for the Division of Street Maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Just a brief on this, please.
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
And I was looking down, was this on the thermal engine or the litter abatement?
Litter
Litter
abatement.
Litter abatement, something that we apply for, I believe annually, John, that's correct. I don't think we got it last year. 2 years ago, we got it, and basically that funded all the seasonal workers that you all saw out there. And we had some statistics, I should have thought to bring those, the amount of area that they cover and the significant amount of bags. So it's something that we don't have to pull our city staff away from, our full-time people. They can continue on the things that have a little bit more skill set involved with it, and then get targeted areas. I do ask, they could send to the city manager's office, areas that they'd like us to focus on, Mayor. I think somebody sent you an email recently in regards to a problem area that we were able to get after a couple of days, but that's exactly what that is. And there's no matching, Michelle informed me today, there's no matching. It's just a
Excellent.
straight grant.
Awesome.
you.
I just want to say, I think it's a shame that people still throw their litter out the windows and throw it down after all this time of knowing better. We have to do something like this. That's all.
All
I've
right.
vented for today.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item I, first reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for the Kentucky Fire Commission fiscal year 2024 thermal imaging camera grant for the Ashland Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item J, reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for the Kentucky Fire Commission fiscal year 2024 personal protection equipment grant in the amount of $10,000 for the Ashland Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a comment. And it's really just a thank you to the fire department for seeking out grant funding for the items that are needed, and things that will help keep our people safe and do their job better. And I really genuinely appreciate the effort that goes into finding those funds and applying for them, so just thank you.
Yeah, they've had a lot this year and last year, so do you have a total on that, running total? It's a lot, isn't it?
I think 1.2 million last year.
1.2 million, that's amazing.
I don't know
Yeah.
why that
We're grateful.
jumped out to me. I don't remember what I ate for dinner last night.
And I should have mentioned this too, thank you both to our police and fire for their honor guard that was provided
Yeah.
for 9/11 and for the ARC conference. It was special to have your men there, and it was important, and I thank you for that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item K, mayor requests the board's concurrence to the appointment of Mike Corwin to the Housing Authority of Ashland Board for a 4-year term, retroactive to September 1, 2023, and expiring September 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do I need to abstain on that since I'm on the Housing Authority?
I would,
Yeah, I
yeah.
abstain.
Item L, the mayor requests the board's concurrence to the appointment of Jennifer Phelps to the Ashland Tennis Commission for a 3-year term beginning October 1, 2023, and expiring October 1, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item M, the mayor requests the board's concurrence on the appointment of Leslie Vinson to the Ashland Tennis Commission for a 3-year term retroactive to October 1, 2023, and expiring October 1, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Retroactive. I
Retroactive.
thought I was being smart, changing
Yeah.
the word there. Go ahead.
You thought we weren't listening.
It's not
We-
October 1 yet, so that's not retroactive. Sorry, Susan. Item N, the mayor requests the board's concurrence to the appointment of John Russ to the Ashland Tennis Commission for a 3-year term beginning October 1, 2023, and expiring October 1, 2026.
So moved.
Any discussion? There was a second. Did you get that from Commissioner Merlant? Sorry, I didn't know if you could hear it. All in favor?
Aye.
Item O, mayor requests the board's concurrence to the appointment of Jim Kettle to the Ashland Cemetery Board for a 4-year term beginning September 17, 2023, and expiring September 17, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And item P, mayor requests the board's concurrence to the appointment of Randall Reeves to the Ashland Cemetery Board for a 4-year term beginning September 7, 2023, and expiring September 17, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I think unless there's any other new business, we just entertain a motion for an executive session to discuss an individual personnel matter.
I have one question for the mayor first. I think we received some money from the state for a day to pick up toxic materials or whatever.
We did.
And do you have any information on that yet, so I can start planning?
That would be through streets.
John, do we have a date set on that yet? October 13th.
and-
And for the public who may not have heard that, that will be for e-waste and other things that you can't normally throw away. Paint cans are always a big thing, so we'll definitely get a flyer out on that, Commissioner, as soon as possible.
And
Thank you.
do you take them, what do you do?
We contract with a company, we'll set up a collection point, we contract with the company that disposes those.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a motion to go in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. We're going to go into executive session for this individual personnel matter. Only that item will be discussed, folks. I don't encourage you to stay because we don't know how long it's going to be, but we appreciate your attendance today and have a great Let the record reflect that we returned at 1:14. Only individual personnel matters were discussed. No action was taken. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Have a good week, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.